Good evening, Milwaukee. You're tuned in to WMSE for Local Live. My name is Erin, joined by Cal Roach.
Good evening.
Good evening. We are your hosts for Local Live tonight, and we welcome into the studios a brand new band, but comprised of veteran or seasoned Milwaukee musicians. Band called the Hatchets, featuring Justin Otto on lead vocals and guitar, James Sauer on guitar, Nick Lang on drums, and Alan Cote on bass. And that's quite the powerhouse of a lineup here.
Yeah, brand new project that you all should be very excited about. We've had a chance to preview their new album that's coming out in a little less than 2 weeks, and it's really a remarkable piece. It's kind of based in like a roots rock style, and as their bio mentions, Woody Guthrie was a touchstone. It says both his life and his work, which curious to kind of dig into that as well. There's definitely a Bob Dylan influence going on. I also was reminded of Sufjan Stevens at times.
That's always cool.
Yeah, for sure. And there's probably a lot of other things as I keep digging into the album. I'm sure I'll be listening to it quite a bit. Kind of dark subject matter at times, but I always feel a sense of hope after listening to it. So,
Aw, that's good.
Hopefully that was the intention. Otherwise, it's very ironic.
Yeah. Many Milwaukeeans will, remember the names if you're in the local music scene or go to a lot of shows. Bands like Yahara, Ladders, Buffalo Gospel, Lyric Advisory Board. They, came together to form the Hatchets, and I guess, the whole Guthrie influence has me thinking, I haven't gotten a chance to listen as thoroughly as you have, but I'm guessing that the true edge in this band will be in the lyrics, just like Guthrie's. And Justin is also going to pare down and do an acoustic set for the second set, so we're going to hear the full band for this first bit, and then we're going to hear it stripped down. So I think that will bring out that influence even more. And the debut album comes out in about 10 days, so we're really excited to get them in here. So without further ado, let's say thanks to the folks who make Local Live on WMSE possible each and every week.
WMSE's Local Live is supported by Club Garibaldi. Located at 2501 South Superior Street in Bayview. Open 7 days a week, Club Garibaldi serves burgers, hot wings, and more, and features live music weekly. For more information and Club Garibaldi's live music events, visit clubgaribaldi.com.
Thank you to Club Garibaldi for supporting WMSC programming, especially for Local Live. Now, from the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio, we bring you the music of the Hatchets.
It goes back before my time, which has in my wrists and fingers. It runs on my mother's side. In my rage, I chased my woman, crazy with the kitchen blade. When I came to, I was howling through her wild tear. She spoke my name, said, Across the country of my youth, broke on with a beard and bottle, I go searching out a former truth. I've always been a pilgrim, I got no place left to run, and the roads all shine like serpents twisting in the desert sun. No, I won't give up believing there's a future to be had. There are good seeds still to blossom from the dead soil of this land. I watch the canyons turn to chapels, hear the creek bed talking tongues, and the sundown spreads like stained glass. There's a voice calling from above. It says love will heal you. It says love will heal you. Love will heal you. Field, the citrus thrives, blossoms swell at wintertime, you'll taste it in the air. Migrants and their families came, heard the promise all the same. Water glistens like champagne, work is plenty there. See that dust blue over the Pacific, feel the breeze running free along the beach. I've set my mind to disregard the limit, like a wildfire marching. Gangsters on the growers pay, like angels guard the orchard gate. Cities built from cardboard crates, rising from the dust, where fathers kiss their daughters' heads and prostitute them tent to tent. There's cries from fruit box bassinets, the air is crisp and lush. See that dust bleed over the Pacific, feel the breeze running free along the beach. Like a new star sparkles in the distance, there's a future fast escaping at the sea. one single heartbeat. It was the plea of a beggar. It was a babbling priest. It was a hollering rich man who owned nothing but fear. It was two lovers whispering in each other's ears. It was the dance of the unborn, countless kicking feet. It was faith in the future. It was death in the street. I heard a great chord. I joined that refrain. It was hope, it was hatred. It was blood mixed with rain. My dream keeps recurring. A voice cries out from the flame. There's a little girl burning. She never gets saved. Hear that howling Atlantic. I swell with the tide, where possibility flickers in that pure morning light. I heard a great chord. I joined that refrain. It was hope, it was hatred. It was pride, it was shame. It was the groan of creation. It was birth and decay. I heard a great chorus. I joined that refrain.
WMSE's Local Love, 91.7 FM. The Hatchets are a rock band from Milwaukee led by Justin Attoon on guitar and vocals. James Sauer, Alan Cott, and Nick Lang round out their sound, and the group is getting ready to release their debut LP, The Uncounted Blue Jillians, a concept album of sorts about...
All right, welcome back. You are tuned into WMSE for Local Live, and if you were listening to that little spot about Southern Culture on the Skids, well, guess what? Southern Culture on the Skids is going to play here at WMSE on Thursday at 2 o'clock on the Bun Mun's Vinyl Variety Show, so make sure to tune in for that. It's going to be pretty awesome. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about the Hatchets. They just played us an awesome set. Welcome. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Good, yeah. Don't be shy to get close to the mic.
Yeah, I'm good.
If you guys want to introduce yourselves on the mic so people know your voice and who's talking.
My name's Justin.
My name's Nick. My name's Alan.
All right.
James was playing with us as well earlier, but he departed to go 10 bar at Company Brewing.
Aha.
All right, right.
Where we will be performing in a week and a half.
On the 19th for our album release, yeah.
How you like that for a tie-in?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I was going to say that.
Brand new records coming out real soon.
And tell people the name of the record, too, because it's a great name.
The record's called The Uncounted Blue Jillions.
Is that, did you come up with that?
It's actually from a quote from Woody Guthrie. The record's in some ways about Woody Guthrie, and that's actually a quote that's read on the record by Kaylee Conway.
Mm-hmm.
It's originally from an excerpt from a letter that Woody Guthrie wrote to his wife.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll get into some more Guthrie talk in a bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you first, as some listeners may also be wondering this, what exactly happened to Yahara?
Oh,
Seemed like it.
You know, I was
Yahara
wondering that same
appeared
thing.
Yeah,
and then
myself.
kind of
We're all
disappeared
kinda-
almost as quickly.
we're all
as,
kind of still here, but
yeah.
people couldn't pronounce the name, so we
Oh,
just
come
kinda-
on.
It's an
We,
abstract.
we
Did
kinda
I get it
picked that
right?
name. Yeah, we kind of picked that name for a little bit, and then took 2 years to make a record, and then realized people couldn't pronounce it in the first place, so we might as well just pick a name that people can pronounce.
It kept autocorrecting to Yamaha.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, people are
We
trying to
actually-
Google it. Did you
Yeah.
mean Yamaha?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We were actually billed as Yamaha once for a show that I had to like email, be like, "Hey, could you please change this?"
that was the end of that. Okay. And also, I wanted to ask you about, because I know you've been involved in the So Far Sounds thing that's been going on in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
So, are you still involved with that?
I am. Yeah.
You tell people a little bit about what that entails if they don't know.
Well, I booked the bands for So Far, so it's alternative venues, secret lineups, secret venues. You find out who's playing when you show up there, and I've been doing it for a couple of years. It's a good way to kind of get people in front of bands they maybe wouldn't have known about or seen otherwise.
Yeah. I guess because you don't know who it's going to be until like
Until you
a
show
day,
up,
or
yeah.
even the day you get there. Okay.
Until you walk in the door, yeah.
Yeah.
So we hope people are generally pleasantly surprised by it. But, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you all are obviously, playing a million bands, have been involved in several different
Just
projects.
one for me. But
Well,
Many different names.
under many different names. What made you all want to take on an additional endeavor? You might call it another project.
I don't know. I've just always liked Justin's music, and so we were just kind of getting together.
You can't see this on the radio, but I'm handing him money underneath the table right now.
Not very much.
We are on video. Keep that in mind.
So many nickels.
I just always liked this music, and I just go where good music takes me. And this has been a lot of fun writing this record, and I was excited recording it, and then I didn't hear it for a while. But then once I heard it, it was like just super exciting, and so I can't wait to release this record. So.
And he just asked me very nicely.
That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Please and thank you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Nick, I want to point out too, you were recently featured by Milwaukee Record as being one of the busiest musicians. I have to point that out. Tyler Moss had written, as a drummer, he played as many as 156 gigs in 1 year, including as many as 3 in a single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I, it's kind of redundant if I ask you this, but to be involved in a project, I would say you probably have very precious free time, so this must be very special for you to be involved in the Hatchets.
Oh, I mean, it's it all kind of works out in the calendar, and no bands have really ever thrown on a gauntlet for me. Like it's us or them, man. But it's just like
Yeah.
Time has kind of worked itself out that no one really gets left out, or I'm like shortchanging another project. And if it is, then it's time to really reconsider some of those things. But I mean, I'll always make time for great music. So.
All right. That's very cool.
So was the seeds for the Hatchets, is that just basically the dissolution of the Yahara name and then moving into this? Or
Well, technically, I'm not calling it a name change because we have changed lineups. Every name change
Yeah.
we've had, we've changed lineups, and an essential member has kind of parted ways. So that was kind of part of it for me, is like we had that name with a different member of the band that was kind of like my main kind of co-creator, and
Yeah.
that person's not with us anymore. So I felt like it was like not that ridiculous to change the name.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because a lot of bands, they'll just change almost every band member until there's nobody left, and they keep the name because people know it.
Yeah, I felt like because we went invisible for a couple of years making the record, it took me a lot longer than I thought. I just kind of felt like we didn't have that much traction still going with that name, so might as well just... Once you like write the check to press vinyl, you're like, I better be really sure that this is a name I want to stick with, and that makes you really kind of do some soul searching.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And so with this particular group, what sounds were you hoping to like go for that maybe you haven't been able to express in other projects up to this point?
I mean, I don't play an acoustic guitar. Well, on one song on the record, I play acoustic guitar, but generally I'm playing electric guitar just about exclusively with this band. So
yeah, and you
that's
told
a little bit
me
different. Generally, like I used to play acoustic guitar, and so that's a slight change at least.
And before you guys went live, we looked at your pedal board.
Yeah,
and you said
Erin was examining.
Those were a new thing to you a little bit
within the last couple of years. I think as we bought the record, it's like there's certain tones you can't get with an acoustic guitar, and you buy some gear.
Yeah. Need to have that fuzz and that compression and all the stuff in between.
Yeah.
So for those of us not well versed in Woody Guthrie's life, what was it about his life or his work that inspired you on this?
Well, that's the hard thing about the record is there's a bit of a learning curve. I'm always talking in the first person, but I'm not really talking just about myself in this. I mean, he had a brutal life, had a lot of tragedies. I'm not gonna, don't have time to talk about all of it, but I'm hesitant to say too much before it just like comes off as a little bit pretentious or corny, but mostly it was just a little bit of a lens to kind of look at currently what's going on in the world by way of somebody who kind of lived through some tough things, had a disease that he was dealing with that kind of made him in many ways not himself in his later life. And also just in his decline in his later years, it's kind of dealing with the myth of who he was, and like as that myth was kind of being created and somewhat accurately about who he actually was, and somewhat kind of blown up into a thing that wasn't super connected to the reality of his past.
Right. Okay.
Now, a couple years back, there was a event called Guthrie Uncovered at Turner Hall Ballroom.
I'm ashamed to say I wrote this record before that.
I was going to ask about that. Did you attend the show at Turner?
I wasn't able to make the show, no, but my good friend Johanna was the one doing that show.
Okay.
I've heard only amazing things about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you were part of the night, you obviously probably would have been.
Wasn't able to make it, but I did listen to a lot of it, and I did. I've seen some video from it, and all those musicians did an amazing job with his work.
Yeah, it was definitely a good insight into Guthrie, which not a lot of people tend to dig super deep with him.
He's from like like what we think of as albums now. He's from the pre-album age, so you're not really just putting on his music and listening to it the way you would listen to people from Elvis onward, I guess. But
right, they're like legit stories.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there something from his catalog that was he an influence on you from a young age, or is that something you came to?
No. I mean, like most people, I think I probably found him via Bob Dylan. Like when you first are like listening to those guys, and Bob Dylan blows your mind, and you're like, well, how'd he make this stuff up? And you kind of see where he got that from, and so certainly that's where I would have first kind of come across him. I mean, he wrote some amazing songs, but I think above and like outside of his work, it was like reading an autobiography about his life that kind of just while I was kind of trying to think of ideas for a new record, I was reading that, and it just kind of informed everything that I was doing.
Okay.
Really, yeah. I guess I was going to write one song or maybe like a couple songs, and then just, couldn't fit everything into that song. So it's like, well, I'll have another song here and then another song here. And it just kind of became a whole album. It was like, now we're not doing an EP anymore. We've got 6 or 7 songs. Might as well just make it into a full album.
A concept album.
Yeah.
So, and I guess just because you sing in first person, I was struck by like wondering if you found parallels with your own life with Woody's, or if there were like anything from your life that you were drawing from specifically that informed the songs?
I wouldn't really say autobiographical, but I think anybody who writes songs would know that, like, if you write a song with a character, or you kind of figure out a time when you're no longer writing specifically 100% about yourself, there is some overlap with whatever character you write, though. I think if you would just write a song 100% fictionalized where there's no overlap between yourself and that character, it's probably not going to be a great song anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe some people can do that, but so yeah, I mean, I kind of used a characterized version of Woody Guthrie, and in some ways use it as kind of a mouthpiece to say some things I wanted to say as well, but not talking about myself. No.
Okay.
To be fair, I have seen you beaten by railroad bulls at least once.
Okay.
Is there video footage of this?
You got it on that phone?
All right.
So-
Look for that on the internet.
Did you record this album in Milwaukee, and who did you work with?
We recorded the full band in Rockford, Illinois at the
Okay.
Midwest Sound, and we did what was going to be overdubs and lead vocals at the Chair Company in Milwaukee, but that ended up being extensive overdubs to the point that it was almost as much as we did for the original record, as far as like the strings and the horns and everything we did here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cal had mentioned there was like a Sufjan Stevens vibe to some of the songs.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's actually funny you say that, because that's certainly, like, when you're coming up with this kind of ridiculous idea for an album, you kind of have these thoughts like, have I listened to anything that has any sort of similarity to this method? And like, definitely, like, some of that Sufjan stuff is informative as far as taking like very obscure American subject matter and kind of using it as in an allegorical way of kind of talking about some things.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. And the arrangements of like the horns and stuff I thought were just beautiful too. So
Well, that's Lawton Hall. Who
Okay.
is a genius and lives right here in Milwaukee. He runs the Chair Company where we recorded. So
okay.
yeah, that's all him. I can't take credit for any of that at all. I kind of told, like, there'd be times where I would play a part on the guitar, kind of like say like make it do, and then he would immediately tab it out, and then it would sound great. But I'll give 100% of the credit to Lawton for the strings and the horns on the record.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, how can people find the record, and where can they find it? Is it on vinyl, CD?
It'll be released July 19th. You can come to our release show at Company Brewing. You can buy it there physically. It will be on vinyl. It'll be CD. If you want to listen to it online, it will be available on Spotify and, I mean, every streaming platform as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real cool. And just before we head out to the studio again, you're going to do a more pared down
We're going
kind
to
of
do
version?
3 acoustic songs.
Okay, sweet.
And by we, you mean...
By we, I mean me. The royal we.
The royal we. All right. So we'll let you get back out there. Thanks again for coming in and chatting. Hatchets.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Alan, Nick, and Justin. All right. We'll be back with Justin from the Hatchets in just a moment. Do not go anywhere. All right. We are back for Local Live. And, of course, you know, if you've been listening, if the Hatchets are Local Live guests tonight, just heard the full band with their set, and then a little interview, wrap it up. And now we're going to have the lead of the Hatchets, Justin Otto, do an acoustic set. We're going to hear 3 songs, starting out with a song called Don't Let Me Go. Once again, live from the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio, we bring you the music of the Hatchets.
Is a pair of desperate eyes staring back at me, fingers tugging gentle like a little child at my sleeve. And I try to hear her whisper, bend down to pull her close. Please, don't let me go. Don't let me go. mother and the Holy Ghost. They hover in my sleep, same face but with different clothes. And each one tries to teach me what it means to be alone. Please, don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Please. My soul is a story that I tell myself, an outlaw ballad where the thief means well. It's never been mine, it's nothing I could own. Please, don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. So that song was called Don't Let Me Go. It's a single we'll be releasing on Friday. This next song is off our record. It's called Old Man. In my hometown they sell postcards of a hanging. My old man was there. In the night I'll find him smiling, waving his Winchester in the air. Like the country crawling westward, he was young and hungry in those days. Like limestone and gypsum, the past is still mixed up in our clay. I was born into a big house, my daddy owned the land above the oil. He'd say nothing made him prouder than the woman and the children that he spoiled. Lost his mansion to a kerosene fire, lost my mother to disease. I drifted like the ashes from that blaze that brought him crashing to his knees. You see those stars above the heartland? I crossed this country just as many times. My clothes became a costume, my voice became a choir multiplied. And my song went on without me, I felt myself dissolve into the land. But if I could be redeemed, I believe the soil also can. If I could be redeemed, I believe the soil also can. If I could be redeemed, I believe the soil also can. If I could be redeemed, I believe the soil also can. Sometimes I float like a balloon. I peer down alone from a big field of blue. I catalog wonder and ugliness too. Sometimes I float like a balloon. Sometimes I feel one with the earth, with pain and with laughter, with murder and birth, with natural disasters and miracle cures. Sometimes I feel one with the earth. Maybe we're a road, maybe it goes nowhere. I found my way back home. There's nothing left but ghosts there. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone. Sometimes I break like a balloon. My breath becomes sky and the dawn is my truth. How it disregards walls built between me and you. Maybe we're a road, maybe it goes nowhere. I found my way back home. Nothing left but ghosts there. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone.
In the state.
Bring me 4 fried chickens and a Coke.
On Saturday, July 13th, join WMSE for a live broadcast from Story Hill, BKC. It's their annual...
We want to thank everyone for tuning in to tonight's edition of Local Live on WMSE. Local Live is a production of WMSE Radio, recorded and broadcast live from the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio on the downtown campus of the Milwaukee School of Engineering. Local Live is produced by Erin and me and engineered by Billy Cicerelli. Video by Moleskin Productions.
And all hospitality tonight provided by Cedar Teeth Pizza, who can be found online at cedarteeth.com, Anodyne Coffee, who can be found online at anodynecoffee.com, and by Sprecher Brewing Company. More info at sprecherbrewery.com. For upcoming guests and archives of past Local Live performances, visit WMSE.org. Tune in again next Tuesday at 6 for another edition of Local Live with If I Had a Hi-Fi.
One of my favorite local bands ever.
That has a new album out. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yes.
Tune in next week to find out all about that.